Hello, Sagittarius. It's time for your May monthly reading, 2021. I'm Michele B, and if you've been following me, if you're subscribed, you'll see that this is not my typical habitat. I usually do my recordings in my lovely downtown studio flat where I live. I've got my house plants and my beautiful art everywhere. But since the warmer weather's been coming along and restrictions from the pandemic have been lifting, downtown Bellingham, Washington has been coming to life. And so it is so noisy. And the trains have been coming by every 20 minutes. And there's like weekend warriors on Harleys driving like down the street. People walking around yelling, having fun. Cafe right outside the window. Bar across the street. 24/7 racket. I love it, but it's horrible for recording. I said to myself, if I was infinitely wealthy, which I am, what would I do for myself? I would get myself a hotel room in a nice quiet place so I could just do my recordings. So I did. Maybe eventually I'll get an office, I don't know. But right now, yeah, here I am. So let's get started on your reading. What I like to start with, Sagittarius. I want to say it over and over again so it's stuck in my head. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, Sagittarius. I start with what to embrace and what to leave behind for the month ahead. What to put behind you and what to hold on to, all right? What to embrace and what to leave behind. This is going to inform the rest of our reading as we go forward. Okay. The first two I'm going to take, the rest I'm going to leave. So, we've got what to embrace, which is not such an easy thing to do for Sagittarius, to embrace the fact that they're going to be doing things on their own for a little while, or at least for the month, that they got to do their own thing. But also, Sagittarius, I feel like they're cool with doing their own thing if it's about seeking out knowledge. So like you can do your own thing for a little while if it's regarding seeking wisdom, finding out what the truth is, leaving behind, having, I feel like some superficial support from the people that you used to be connected with. This is something that's been playing out through all the readings that I've been doing so far, is like there's some superficial connections that a lot of us have had in recent past, and we're getting ready to let them go so that we can work on something more meaningful, so that we can create connections that are in alignment with our ascension, our spiritual and purpose-driven ascension. Okay, so excuse my itchy nose. That means there's magic happening right now. Okay, use the magic off my nose to bless this reading for the greatest good for all. So right now I'm going to look at your soul purpose messages for May. And then I'm going to transition to looking at your abundance and prosperity messages. And then finally, your intimate, your intimate connections, your romance, if that's what you're curious about, okay? Alrighty. Messages about soul purpose, informed by that hermit, the old wise man. Okay. And I always think of Sagittarius as the old wise man. All right, so that's interesting that the tower came up when it comes to soul purpose for you, Sagittarius. That's what happened. So I'm going to go with it, and I'm going to tell you what the tower's all about. And we'll see. I'm going to paint a broad stroke across the canvas, and I'll let you see what you can get out of it. The tower moment happens when you feel like you're ready for a change, but you don't know how to make it happen. You're like stuck in the status quo, you're stuck in what's easy, you're stuck in your routines, and you don't know how to make changes happen that really need to happen. Doing the same thing over and over and over again and hating it, but not knowing how to change it. I can hear the train in the distance because I live down the street about 10 blocks. Just far enough away from the train that I can hear it way in the distance, and I'm like, thank goodness I'm not trying to record over there. Anyway, let me tell you about what happened to me, a tower moment that happened to me, just for an example. I was working as a house cleaner, and I bought myself a nice car, and I was making payments on it. In order to make the payments, I had to work even harder, work even more hours as a house cleaner. But I felt like every time somebody offered me a job, I would immediately say yes, because I was like, I need more money so that I can pay off this car. And I was really getting burned out, running around all the time. I felt like I had no time for just relaxing by myself, for just kicking back and just watching a movie, just because I felt like it. I didn't have time to do things that were really meaningful to me. And so I kind of grumbled to the universe, like, I really need to figure out a way to get out of this situation. I wasn't thinking I need to get rid of my car. I was thinking I need to figure out a way to not work so hard. All right. So one night I was driving home from the job that I was at, and I got in a wreck and totaled my car. And I was perfectly safe. So what happened was I told the universe, I really need to get out of this, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to say no to people. I just immediately said yes. Not necessarily because I needed the money. It was also that I didn't know how to say no, right? The universe made sure I said no because I didn't have a car. And it felt so good to tell those clients that I couldn't come to work anymore because I didn't have a car. I was like, I don't have a car, so I'm just not going to do this anymore. They were like, what do you mean? Just go get another car. I was like, I just don't really want to. And my life immediately became so much simpler and so much more pleasant. Because the universe went ahead, I asked the universe to do something for me. Indirectly, I asked the universe to do something for me. Or source, or God, or your guardian angels, right? It did something for me that I didn't have the guts to do myself. The universe will do that. That's what we call a tower moment. Okay? So now you are enlightened. All right? What does that mean for your soul purpose? That was the broad brushstroke that I took. If you're doing things with your time and energy that are not bringing you satisfaction, maybe these kinds of things, right? Shallow relationships, a job, like doing something that you think is not meaningful or significant, and like you don't like it, you're asking for a change, but you're afraid to take the steps to make the change yourself. That's when the tower moment happens. But you don't have to have a disaster for changes to happen. You can just make the changes. You don't have to have this. You can make the changes, okay? You don't have to have a tower moment to make changes, all right? It happened to me because I was afraid to say no. It happened to me because I was afraid to make the changes myself. So, it's your choice, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, moving on to talk about your abundance and prosperity. Perhaps the work that you're doing right now, that you're not enjoying, perhaps it brings you a lot of money. That's the download that I'm getting. It's something that brings you a lot of money, but you don't really like it that much. And you're concerned that if you stop doing that thing, that you'll stop getting money. Like, for some reason, you've got it in your head that doing what you love doesn't bring you money. If I do what I love to do, there's no money in that. So I have to do things that don't feel honest, that don't feel meaningful. Sagittarius, you are the wise old man you're one of the wise old men of the zodiac. I think the Dalai Lama is a Sagittarius. You know better than to live that way. Messages for your abundance and prosperity. That's the material stuff, right? Okay, the Knight of Pentacles showed up as a message regarding your abundance and prosperity. It's letting you know that things are happening, things are changing for the better, because it's in the upright. Things are changing for the better, but it's happening very slowly and methodically. Why is it happening slowly? Because that's the way you think it has to happen. That's the only way you'll believe it. Whenever we're creating a new reality, we're constantly creating a reality, right? And we want to transition to something different. As we're transitioning, it has to be believable. If you want significant income up levels, or significant resource up levels, significant health boosts, significant improvement in your sex life. If you want any of that stuff, you got to believe that it's possible. You got to believe that it's not hard. You got to believe that transition can happen like that. But like, our brains can only pick up a little bit at a time. It's totally reasonable that you wouldn't believe it. That you wouldn't believe that you would suddenly just like move from making $20,000 a year to making $100,000 a year. It's totally believable that you wouldn't, like, you wouldn't believe it, right? Like, well, I don't have that kind of value. I have $20,000 a year value. What can you do though to increase your value significantly? What would it take for you to believe that you had the value of somebody who makes $100,000 a year? And how can you do that quickly? That's the question that I have for you. So let's get a little look at what else the tarot wants you to know regarding that slow moving prosperity, transitioning to something improving. Is that something you want? Or it's to come slowly? I feel like I had to say what I had to say because, I feel like I had to say what I had to say because it's like, you don't like it. You think you're broke. The Four of Pentacles came out. It was like, well, you think you're broke. You think that you don't have enough to... I think that's a huge reason why you're staying in work that isn't really aligned with your soul purpose, right? So, because you think that you can't afford to just transition over. But when a really interesting thing happens when you release attachment to how much value, like economic value you have in your bank account, when you release attachment to that, this like weird thing happens where it's just like it clicks over and there's like the money starts coming in. Yeah, it's cliche, but it's true. Sorry, it is. And then there's the devil. So it's just like reinforcing the same message of believing that the only way to make a lot of money is to be shady. Believing that the only way to get rich is to steal, basically, to steal. I'm not saying you're stealing, okay? But a lot of people, a lot of very honest, hardworking people keep themselves broke because they believe that having money is a bad thing. But here you are, Sagittarius, here you are going out into the wilderness to find out a different truth, to go figure out what is the real nature of wealth. What is the real nature of alignment with your soul purpose? What is the actual truth? Not just what the world brings us, not just the tired old narratives. The magic is still happening. That's why my nose is itching and itching. What is beyond the tired old narratives that our parents and that the television shows, the books. I'm sorry, it's just itching so much. Anyway, it's like the story that was brought to us that just has not done any good for us, regarding like how if you're not working hard, idle hands are the devil's playthings, right? If you're not working hard, then you don't deserve to be wealthy. And wealthy people do bad things. You have to be evil in order to become wealthy, right? It's not true. There are wealthy people that are doing so much good for the world. And money itself does not do bad things. Money itself is not an evil thing. It has no like feelings. It has no motivation whatsoever. It's the people that have it. And people have negative attachments, not only to money, but they also have negative attachments to sex, to drugs, to anything that gives them some kind of power, okay? It's the power behind the money that gives people the negative, which gives people like the hang-ups, the addictive behaviors, okay? Here you are, Sagittarius, looking over all of this stuff and coming to some new conclusions about all of that. Rethinking what you were taught. I feel like there's like this father figure that influenced you, Sagittarius. Like this is like the masculine influence in your life is when you were a child and building your attachments to and your understanding of the world. We build our understanding of the world before we're 5 years old. This person struggled, very good person, very honest, hardworking person, but they struggled economically, believing that that's the only way that they could make ends meet. I'm seeing my own father, definitely, in this image. And that's why I had to mention that it was a father figure that's probably influenced you to believe that there is only one way to make money. If you want money, you've got to be doing bad things. And otherwise, you're a bad guy if you don't work hard. Okay? You're finding a new way to be. You don't have to work hard to make money, and you're not a bad person if you have money. Let's move on to your, oh my goodness, time's just going, flying by. I'm just pounding on the same information, on and on and on. Let's go on to your love prospects. And that's not just romance, that's also all of your intimate emotional connections. But we usually want to know about love. So that's what I'm going to be speaking about. Now, potentially there could be millions of people watching this video. And of all the Sagittarius that are watching it, they could be in all kinds of different connections. They could be in a committed relationship. They could be in a, I don't know where this is going, connection. They could be looking for a connection even though they don't have one. They could be perfectly happy being single. And on and on and on. So this could be about friends, this could be about family, this could be about your romantic partner. Or multiple romantic partners, who knows? Basically, I'm going to paint a general picture and let you infer what you want from it. My nose! Sagittarius, stop it. The Six of Cups represents young love, also nostalgia. Also, somebody coming back from the past. If that's the case for you, some of you Sagittarius, if somebody is coming back from the past, often happens when Mercury retrograde comes around. There it is, okay? So, possibly somebody coming back from the past, very much a feeling of nostalgia, very much a feeling of wishing for young love. Or, yeah, I mean, that's really good. Considering all this other stuff that's going on, I feel like this is a lovely respite from all the heaviness regarding soul purpose and abundance that you're going through. Let's see what else the cards have to say about that. Let me give it a little shuffle. Give it a little shuffle and see what happens. Sagittarius love messages. What have we got? Okay, so I was just talking about hanging around with people that are a little bit shallow, that don't like serve the greater good for you, but perhaps you've been hanging around with some people and partying a little bit, and there's this like connection, and you're like, does it mean anything? I feel like those of you who are, those Sagittarius that are in committed relationships that are perfectly happy aren't watching this. That's just it. So there's some of you that are like working on a connection and you're like, I don't know where this is going. Or like somebody's, like you were hanging out and somebody showed up from the past. And it's like you're being pulled back into it. Okay. Also, some of you are in a connection where there's a third party. It's another female. Okay. I'm not getting it like a serious like jealous vibe from you though, Sagittarius. It's just like you're looking at it and you're like, what a baby. What, like this is like an immature. Like the other person is immature. Okay. Like, what a baby. It's not making you jealous though, I think. I don't think you feel really threatened by it. We got the World, we got Judgment, we got the Knight of Swords also came out. The Knight of Swords is a little bit like got an angry bone to pick, okay? It's not you that's jealous, it's somebody else that's jealous. Somebody else has got a bone to pick with you. Be careful about that, honey. Be careful about that, okay? The Judgment card and the World are indicating, for those of you who have a connection resurfacing from the past, there's an indication that something, a strong indication of cycles coming back around. There's a completion. The World and Judgment are both completion cards of what was meant to be. Like the World is like starting a new cycle, finishing an old cycle and starting a new one. But the Judgment is like, this was meant to be. You were meant to reconnect with this person. Let's look at the outcome real quick for those of you who are dealing with that kind of scenario this month. For those of you who are dealing with a scenario where you're coming back into connection with someone from the past, and it was meant to be that you would be coming back into connection at this moment, I just want to get an outcome prospect on the trajectory that you're at right now. It's always changeable. Outcome trajectory real quick before we close out for Sagittarius regarding this Judgment 6 of Cups energy. Queen of Cups. I'm seeing this as something where you are receiving, some really beautiful energy. You see this person holding the flowers and smelling them and being really happy? That's you. Okay? That's you being kind of stoked, kind of happy. Live it up. Okay? So positive prospects on that so far, okay? All right? Enjoy it, live it up while it lasts. Don't know the really long-term prospects, just the immediate ones, and I don't get anything really negative from that. Regarding the person with a bone to pick, do you deserve it? Watch out. All right, that's it. I gotta go. I've been talking long enough. But I guess closing out, final thoughts is, let yourself explore alternatives to the status quo regarding the way that you think your time, your energy, your soul purpose, and money flows. Okay? Work on that. Otherwise, just try to attract high quality people to yourself. And don't hang out with people that are not high quality. That's it. Gonna go. Love you. In the description box below this video, there is a link to PayPal and Venmo if you want to shoot me a couple bucks for this reading. Just saying. Love you. Bye.